The wedding that never was. How I turned my rehearsal dinner into a public exposé. I'm 36 years old, a software developer with a stable, comfortable life. Good job, nice house, solid savings, but nothing absurdly extravagant. My fiancée, Claire, is 29. She works part-time at a boutique and comes from a family that has always struggled financially. We'd been dating for 2 years, engaged for about 8 months. From the start, I had been upfront about my financial situation. Past relationships had taught me the hard way that money can turn things sour fast. Claire seemed different at first. She wasn't interested in lavish vacations, never asked for expensive gifts, and acted like she valued me for who I was, not what I earned. But something changed after we got engaged. Suddenly, she became fixated on the wedding, specifically on spending. The venue had to be extravagant. The catering had to be top tier. She wanted live musicians, designer decor, the works. Every conversation somehow circled back to the budget, which kept ballooning. When I suggested we set a spending limit, she accused me of trying to ruin her dream wedding, claiming I was cheap and unsupportive of our big day. At first, I chalked it up to wedding stress. But the real warning sign came 3 months ago. My attorney suggested we consider a prenup, just a simple agreement to protect both our interests. I casually mentioned it over dinner. Her reaction was instant and intense. A prenup? Are you serious? She snapped, eyes wide and voice trembling. That's like planning our divorce before we even get married. You're basically telling me you don't trust me. I tried to explain it was standard, just a precaution. But Claire doubled down, crying and saying it broke her heart that I didn't believe in our relationship. I can't believe you'd even think I'm with you for your money, she sobbed. This isn't what love looks like. I felt guilty, maybe I was overthinking it. Eventually I caved. You're right, I told her. That was selfish of me. I trust you completely. Forget about the prenup. He seemed relieved. We didn't speak about it again. But something about her reaction stayed with me. It felt too perfect, almost scripted, like she'd rehearsed it. 2 weeks ago my gut proved right. Claire had claimed she was out for dinner with her cousin, but when she returned home, she went straight to our bedroom and shut the door, which wasn't her usual behavior. About 30 minutes later, I heard her voice through the walls. She was on the phone, laughing and speaking freely, not realizing I could hear her from the hallway. I wasn't trying to snoop. I was headed to ask if she wanted tea, but I froze when I caught a horrifying sentence. The wedding's in 2 weeks. Then the real work starts. You were right about the prenup thing. Crying totally worked. Once we're married, I'll start documenting everything for the divorce. He makes good money, and the house alone is worth at least $800,000. I stood there, completely numb, listening to Claire plot my financial downfall. She talked openly about documenting emotional distance and faking incompatibility. She laughed about how easily she'd manipulated me out of signing a prenup. Then she said something that hit harder than anything else. I can't stand pretending to find him interesting for much longer, but my attorney says I need to tough it out for at least a year to get alimony and a share of the house. I walked back to my office, heart pounding. The woman I was supposed to marry wasn't just unfaithful or dishonest. She was calculating, cold, cruel. I didn't confront her that night. Instead, I quietly started gathering proof. Over the next week, I noticed her pattern. Late-night calls in the bedroom with the door locked. I waited for my moment. That Friday she had another call. I positioned myself near the door, still within a common area of the house, and legally recorded everything. It was even worse than before. Claire was on the phone with her cousin again, gloating. The wedding's next Saturday, everything's in place. No prenup, so I'll get marital claims. Her cousin laughed, cheering her on. I just need to play the perfect wife for a year. Then I can file for divorce, claim emotional neglect, and walk away with a huge settlement, Claire continued. Even if I only get half of what he has, that's still more money than I'd see in 10 years at the boutique. 23 minutes of recorded proof. I saved multiple backups of the recording and spent the weekend planning my response. I had two choices. 1. Quietly cancel the wedding, protect myself and walk away. 2. Expose her publicly. Make sure no one else fell victim to her scheme. Chose the second. The rehearsal dinner was set for the following Friday. Around 40 guests were attending. Family, friends, wedding party, and others from both sides. I prepared a little presentation. When my turn came to give a toast, I stood up, phone and portable speaker in hand. Before we celebrate tomorrow's big day, I began. I want to share something that truly shows Claire's feelings about our marriage. Claire smiled, thinking I was about to play a sweet message. I hit play. Her voice filled the room. The wedding's next Saturday, everything's in place. No prenup, so I'll get marital claims. Instantly, Claire's face drained of color. She lunged for my phone, but I dodged her easily. I let the recording play. Her laughing about manipulating me, describing her plan to fake a happy marriage for a year before divorcing me for my assets. The room was silent. People gasped at every sentence. When it reached the part where she said she couldn't stand pretending to care about me, several people audibly groaned. I stopped the audio after 8 minutes. The wedding is cancelled, I announced. Claire, you have 48 hours to move out of my house. All hell broke loose. Claire started shrieking, insisting the recording was fake. Her cousin tried to slip out quietly, but guests blocked her path, demanding answers. Claire's father stood up, shaking in anger. Claire, he asked, is this true? Were you planning to divorce him for money? She stammered, claiming it was all a joke, a misunderstanding, but no one believed her. Guests began leaving. Claire's parents were horrified and apologized to my family before storming out with her. Date 1, 2 days later. The fallout was immediate. Claire showed up at my door the next morning, dragging her cousin along, demanding an explanation. How could you humiliate me like that in front of everyone? She screamed. I calmly replied. How could you plan to ruin me financially while pretending to love me? She claimed the recording didn't prove anything, and that she'd just been venting. Venting doesn't involve lawyers, legal strategies, and a 1-year timeline for divorce, I said. Her cousin mumbled something about hypotheticals, but neither could explain why they discussed specific legal tactics in such detail. Claire packed her things and left later that day. Word spread fast. Mutual friends and relatives called non-stop, stunned by what happened. The truth spoke for itself. Her own words were her downfall. Date 2, 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later, the dust had settled. Claire's social life was in ruins. No one believed her claims of misunderstood jokes. The recording was too specific, too calculated. Her cousin became a social outcast, too, caught red-handed as an accomplice. Claire's parents called me, begging me to let it go quietly, saying I'd ruined her life. I reminded them she'd spent 2 years deceiving me, scheming to rob me under the guise of marriage. They had no answer. She tried dating again, but every man in town knew the story. Her scheme had been exposed as a cautionary tale, warning others about gold diggers and marriage fraud. Final update. 2 months later. 2 months have passed. Claire eventually moved out of town to start over somewhere new. Probably the only option she had left. She even consulted a lawyer about suing me for invasion of privacy. Her lawyer told her flat out she had no case. Recording her from a common area of my own home was perfectly legal. I've started dating someone new. She knows the whole story and agrees. It's exactly why prenups exist. Claire sent me one last text from her new city. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my life over private conversations. I didn't reply. She destroyed herself with her greed, her lies, and her arrogance. That rehearsal dinner wasn't revenge. It was self-defense, and the best public service I could offer to anyone else she might have targeted. In the end, Claire learned the hard way. Marriage fraud only works if the victim stays blind. But once exposed, it all crumbles.